Hey guys, this is Tom from Numbers Game Lifestyle, and today we're going to be talking about, can anybody, any guy, become a Chad? Right? Because a lot of the guys out there think that only Chads get laid, only Chads have abundance with women. You know, they're the only guys that every woman wants, right? Right? They're the only guys that are really getting laid a lot, having options with women. And I would kind of agree that in order to be successful with women, have a successful dating life, get laid a lot, have a lot of options with women, hot girlfriends, you have to be somewhat like a Chad. And this is like non-negotiable. Look around. If you go downtown and, or a grocery store, one where there's lots of people, look for all the attractive women. What are the men that they are with? The majority of the time, it'll be a guy that looks above average. He may be taller than average, more muscular than average, better looking than average, better dressed than average. They can be plus and minuses for all those things. Maybe he's a short guy that he's really built. Maybe he's a tall guy, but he's, really skinny, but, he's got a good face. There's going to be pluses and minuses, but what you'll notice is majority of the time, the guys look better than average, right? They're more attractive than the average guy. And that is what every man should strive for if they're after some kind of abundance, dating abundance, options with women. And yes, you should look most like a Chad as possible. Maximize your Chad potential. Because a lot of the times guys think that game is like this cure-all, that if you just look, you look terrible, but your game is really tight, that it's going to make up for your lack of physical attractiveness. And I'm sorry to say that's not how it works. If you're one of these guys that doesn't look above average, doesn't look anything like a Chad, then you are going to be one of those guys that's online complaining that they have to approach, hundreds, thousands of women in order to get laid or, get a girlfriend and everything like that. It's just, how is that a plus to your game? How is that oh man, that guy's got good game, takes him 100 women or 1,000 women to get laid? No guy should have to do that. And the reason why they have to do this, put in all this work just to get laid, just to get a girlfriend, is because their looks aren't up to par. And I know a lot of guys are like, well, looks are just genetic determinism. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. The only thing you cannot change about yourself is your height. And you can modify that slightly with some shoe lifts. If you really want to add some height to yourself, put in some shoe lifts and you'll grab like an easy 2 inches. But no, there's other alternatives. You can get bigger, stronger. You can change your facial hair, change your haircut, change your body fat percentage. There's a number of ways you can modify how you look to make yourself more appealing to women, the majority of women. Okay, let me just discuss Chads for a minute, okay? I've grown up with Chads. I've had a lot of Chad friends, very good looking, model tier. And yes, they get laid, but guess what? They have to put in the same work that I do and everybody else does. Okay, I'll just tell you a couple stories about being friends with Chads, okay? One guy, first Chad that I really, I was friends with. We would go to the bar and I would see to him. This was when I was very new. I had no concept of the numbers game, of what it took to get laid. But he did. He right away knew. He was frustrated at the bar because every time he'd ask a girl to dance, they'd say no, not interested. And he was frustrated, but he just kept plowing. He just next girl asked her to dance. And then eventually he got one that was interested and, ends up taking her home or whatever, right? He's gotten laid at the bar tons of times. And I remember thinking like a complete dummy, oh man, that guy's getting rejected so much. What a loser. Not realizing that that's what it took to actually get laid. Rejection's part of the game. And I was like, man, what a loser. He's getting rejected, so cringeworthy. But did he? Eventually, he brings a girl home. And I'm like, oh man, like what a loser. I'd never do that. I'd never have to put up with all that crap of like facing all that rejection. And it was just my like pussy ass ego not willing to do what it took to actually find women that are interested in you. And yes, the Chads have to do the exact same thing. They have to play the numbers game just like you and I. And that's the thing. A lot of these black pill guys think like, oh, I wish I was Chad. Then I could just sit back and have all these women all over my dick, like wanting my dick. It's not how it works. Chads, the ones that actually get laid a lot, they put in work. Okay? This guy that I grew up with, he was willing to join the cheerleading squad in order to get laid. He's like, yeah, I'm going to join the cheerleading squad, do all the practices, put on the gay uniform. But guess what? He ended up banging like half the cheerleaders on the squad because he put himself in a position to win. He joined the cheerleading squad to make that a reality. And me personally, I'd be like, man, that's a lot of like time investment, kind of like humiliating. At least to me, I wouldn't feel comfortable like joining the cheerleading squad just to get laid. But this guy was highly motivated. And that's what guys that get laid a lot and have a lot of options with women, they are highly motivated to do what it takes to get lots of women. There's no getting around it. There's no like, oh, it just happened by accident. No, these guys, they put in work. It doesn't matter like how good looking you are. The guys that want to get laid a lot have a lot of options with women. They put in work, just like you and I. And yes, there's going to be guys, like the better looking you are, the more like sexual market value you have, the less numbers you have to put in, but you're still going to have to put in numbers. You're still going to have to put in a lot of numbers to find what you're looking for. And if you do not meet the threshold, the looks threshold for the majority of women, let's say you approach a bunch of women and they're just not interested, chances are you have to improve your looks. Otherwise, you're going to be spending, years upon years spinning your wheels thinking like looks is not a problem. It's my game. It's my game that's the problem. No, you're not even getting your foot in the door because you're not attractive enough in order to get your foot in the door and even play the game. That should be step number one, is to get look above average. Then you can start playing the game. Then you've actually got, the foundation to play the game. Then you can work on your game, making things more efficient, making things run more smoothly. But until you're going to be one of those guys that, spend years in the PUA community, not getting laid, approaching a bunch, not getting anything in return. It's because you haven't met the looks threshold. And I believe every guy can. Every guy can look above average and to be attractive to the majority of women that he's approaching. How you look, how you dress, how you style yourself. There's tons of ways that you can improve the way you look to make yourself more attractive to the demographic that you're after. But guys just don't want to do that. They're just like, no, I'm going to stick to like my game. I'm going to work on my game. That's the key to my success. It's like maybe if you're already have like above average looks and you're still struggling, like you can't make anything work, nothing's happening, yes, then game is probably the problem. Your conversations that you're having, the vibe that you're putting out there is probably screwing you up somehow. But that's not the majority of guys. The majority of guys tend to fix this problem as soon as they get their looks handled and get out in the field and start playing the numbers game. Another option is, if you're a guy that just, I'm not about improving my looks. I'm not about, improving my style or anything like that. Then you have to, and you're approaching a bunch of women and getting nowhere, then you have nowhere else to go but to lower your standards considerably till you strike pay dirt, right? You're going to have to go to below average women that you're less attracted to, because you're obviously, not making any headway with the women that you find attractive. So you've got two options: either lower your standards even more or improve your product, improve yourself so you're, attractive to the demographic that you're after. There's always this like mythical, I know this mythical 5'2" brown guy with a really bad pot belly and he's bald and he gets laid all the time. You'll hear about this all over the internet and you'll never see it in real life. Like, if you and I both know, we've never seen this guy in real life pull chicks, right? I know I haven't. In my 40 years of living, I've never seen that happen. where this, unattractive guy is pulling all these chicks. Don't get it confused. There's guys that entertain women, that talk to women. There's practically no men that look below average and they're cleaning up with women. It just doesn't make any sense. Dick is very easy to come by for women. Of course, they're going to choose the top guys that they can get, the very top notch guys that they're, find attractive. So, yes, anybody can become a Chad. Just become above average. If you can become above average, then you can start putting game to work. You can start building up your skill set to make things more efficient. You have more abundance that way. But until you do that, if you're still stuck at average or below average, you are not going to get anywhere with game, okay? You're going to be approaching out there in the dating world or on the online world, in the real world, night game, day game, everywhere, and you're just going to get rejection after rejection after rejection because you haven't put in the work to, improve your product enough to be viable for the market. So either you could lower your standards considerably and then you'll start having success, or you could improve yourself to make yourself a more viable product. But again, you do not have to become a male model. You don't have to be some male model where the black pillars only think that male models get laid or only male models have abundance with women. No, it's be above average and put in the numbers. You can actually get laid more than the actual Chads if you're willing to put in more numbers, take more shots. But again, you have to become a little bit above average in order to make that a reality. Anyways, guys, if you need help doing this, improving your appearance so you appear attractive to women and you're not left spinning your wheels, approach after approach, date after date, not getting anywhere, I help guys do that. There's coaching links down below. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching.